we will officially open this by welcoming everybody to the TELUS Media Center. This all came together kind of quickly here today, and we know, working in media, I know when things break, it hinders plans and affects plans. But we thank everyone for being here. As I mentioned, we will allow people to raise hands, and we'll get questions in. Keep it to one or two at a time at first, and we want to accommodate everybody. So without further ado, on this day, Bryan Burnham signed his contract for this season. We'll open it up here and start with Jay.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for doing this. Bryan, congratulations. Great to see you re-signed. When I look at the way the landscape has changed, it's going to be 2 years by the time you guys hit training camp come May. Have you thought about that?
Yeah. Every day, man. It's kind of crazy. I sit here and it's funny when kind of things got finalized and I knew I was going back to BC. I FaceTimed Mike Riley and, wanted to give him the news. And, I was sitting there saying like, man, things aren't going to be the same as last year. And then I had to stop myself and realize there wasn't a last year. And it's just really crazy to think about that. Like you said, it's going to be 2 years. It'll be interesting to see, how guys react to that. It's hard to replicate football conditioning without actually playing football. So, but you do what you got to do. I know everyone's really excited to get back on the field, and I got faith that guys are working hard and are going to come in ready to go.
Bryan, is there any kind of benefit? Like we were banting this about in our department last week, thinking, I know you guys, you suffer one injury during the regular season and you literally feel it every practice, every game for the rest of the season. Being out this long, are there any benefits? And, does age factor in? I mean, how do you look at being away from the game for almost 2 years?
You do look at the bright side. Like you said, your body takes a toll playing football, and you have a 6-month off season, but most of that time is spent training. There's not too much time to really rest your body the way it needs to be rested. And like you said, you get an injury and you feel it all season. So having this time away, you look at the bright side, my body feels amazing. I mean, I can't just being able to walk around and not having that soreness in your feet and your knees, and it feels really good. And I know there's guys around the league who I'm sure appreciate the time that they've had to heal up and get their bodies back to feeling normal. So but it'll be interesting to see once we start playing, kind of once we start banging again, what those little injuries actually feel like, because we haven't felt them in over 2 years. So I'm sure they're going to hurt a little bit more than usual, but I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, I kind of, it sounds crazy, but I kind of miss the everyday pain of football and just having those aches and pains, man. It's kind of weird. It's strange to say that I miss it.
Thanks, Bryan.
Well, thank you, Jay. We'll go to Gemma at Canadian Press.
Hi, Bryan. Congratulations.
Hello.
So glad to see you back. I've got a ton of questions, so I'll just start with a couple and then turn it over. First of all, the release we got only said you had been re-signed. It didn't have any details about the deal. Is it 1 year that you've re-signed for, or what can you tell us?
Yes, it is. It is a 1-year deal for the 2021 season.
Excellent. And obviously, we're about a week now from free agency opening. I think there was a lot of people in the Lions fan base a little worried that this wouldn't come together. Can you tell us what the negotiations were like for you, and if there were ever any fears for you about not coming back and continuing to be a Lion?
Yeah, negotiations were not fun. But that's how it is, at the end of the day, you got to take a step back. And for me personally, I know that this is a business at the end of the day. And there's things that happen throughout negotiations with everybody where, you know, you could take it personally, and you could take it as a personal attack on yourself and feel a certain type of way. But at the end of the day, I know that it's business, and they're trying to put together the best team they can. And although things didn't go exactly the way I would have hoped, and you know, it made it a little harder than it needed to be, we got a deal done. And you asked if I had any fears that it might not, and I absolutely did. You know, I kind of had gotten to the point a week ago where, you know, I thought, you know, my days in BC were done, and I was going to be moving on. And luckily, they were able to make something happen to get this done.
What's it like to have it done for you now? A bit of a weight off your shoulders?
Oh, for sure. I mean, just a bunch of stress that I no longer have to think about. I don't have to carry anymore. You know, there's so many things that go into making this decision. You know, not just football, but, you know, just life in general, and just a lot of things that you think about over and over and over. And you know, last night we kind of finalized the deal, and it was the best night of sleep I had in a while. So it was nice. Definitely feel better about it now.
Awesome. I'll turn it over to someone else for a minute. Thanks, Bryan.
Yeah, thanks,
No problem.
Gemma. We'll go to Justin Dunk at 3 Down Nation. Justin?
Hey, Bryan, thanks for doing this. Just wanted to get your thoughts on if you explored and talked to any other teams during the negotiating period that opened on Sunday, and what were those conversations like, and who maybe did you talk to?
Yeah, I won't go into too much detail, but we did want to, I mean, once we got to, you know, this point where the window was coming up, you know, I wanted to at least take the time to kind of hear what was out there. And Winnipeg was one of the big ones who called, and you know, things got interesting, and you know, there was kind of a number it would take for me to stay in BC and a number it would take for me to leave. And BC got to that number, and nobody got to the number it would take for me to leave. So that's kind of how that went. You know, all the respect in the world to Winnipeg and what their franchise has done and their fans. A lot of people reaching out on social media, and you know, it's a great feeling to have when people want you. But at the end of the day, I'm very happy that we were able to get it done in BC, and all the fans from BC who have reached out and said congratulations and just shown their support, man, it is much appreciated.
And you mentioned there in an earlier answer that it was almost at a point where you thought your days in BC were done. Mm-hmm. What changed, and was it mainly to do with that upfront money in terms of the uncertainty with the season, or what overall changed that for you?
Yeah, pretty much we were at a position where we just didn't, there wasn't really much dialogue going on between me and BC, and it's kind of just understanding the nature of where the league is right now, and teams have to cut money down. And you know, being one of the, you know, higher paid position guys in the league, non-quarterback guys in the league, you know, it's just, we were in a tough position because those are the contracts that really probably have to come down the most. And that was kind of a hard pill for me to swallow. But at the same time, there was a little bit of, you know, miscommunication here and there. But at the end of the day, you know, I made it known to Rick and Neil that I wanted to be a part of the team, and I was willing to fight for those guys in the locker room to the end. And it's you know, it's not something that I was happy about, that I was going to be moving on. So, you know, I wanted to do whatever I could to make it back in BC. And luckily there was that mutual feeling. So, we got things taken care of.
Cool. And just one quick last one for me. Is it fair to say that you took sort of a hometown discount and left maybe more money on the table to stay with BC?
Yep.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Bryan.
Thank you, Justin. We'll go to Gary Rutherford at CTV. Gary, if you still had one, and your hand is down now, but it's all you, Gary, if you got one.
Thank you. Congratulations, Bryan.
Thank you.
I mean, things are changing. The world's changing. Your team's changed. You got a new coach that you haven't worked with. There's new management. And just some of the uncertainty within the league, when it's going to start, where it's going to play, are you going to have fans, that sort of thing. So you've obviously thought about all of that. And how is that sort of going to affect your play? I could be wrong, but is it your 7th season coming into the league, Bryan? So you sounds like you're physically ready to go, but all these other things, are you trying to kind of absorb and figure out how you're going to actually play the game this year?
Yeah, for sure. It's weird thinking about it, because I've spent the last year and a half almost trying to avoid people, staying away from people. So it's kind of weird to think about, I'm getting ready to play a sport where you're in constant contact with people, and it's kind of freaky thinking about it. But I'm excited, man. It is stressful. There's still that stress there where you're thinking about there's a potential of not having a season, and but at the end of the day, those are things that I have no control over, and this isn't a situation where you want to slack off thinking that it's not going to work, and then it does work out, and you get up there, and then you're in a position where you're not ready to go. So I'm going to be ready. If there's a season, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be ready to go. If there's not a season, it's going to be really, really disappointing. But I do have confidence that there's going to be some sort of season. So yeah, man, it's just right now, it's just focused on making sure my body's ready to go.
Well, and I guess what Lions fans would be curious of is, are you still going to be making those highlight reel grabs?
Absolutely. That is what I do.
Thanks, Bryan.
No problem.
Thanks, Gary. For now, go back to the top of the order here. Jay, I see your hand is still up. If you had another one, feel free to chime in, Jay.
Sure, yeah. Bryan, how envious were you watching the NFL play a full season? We're going to watch the Super Bowl this weekend. I'm telling you, I don't know how many people have stopped me either on the golf course or out and about asking if we're going to see a CFL season in 2021, how disappointed they were we didn't see a season last year. How envious were you? And obviously, I know you want to play, but watching what they did and what you couldn't do.
Yeah. Very,
Loaded
very
question?
envious. Yeah. That strikes a nerve. It's hard, man. It's hard for me to watch the NFL because honestly, a part of me knows that I have the ability to be there. But also, watching this past year, you kind of saw it work in a sense, and they got a season in and they were able to play. And man, it's just, it was hard to watch because it just brings you back to the memories that I had of playing, and it made it seem like it was so long ago. But yeah, it was really frustrating watching some games and just seeing those guys out there enjoying what they do, doing what they love, and I'm sitting on the couch not able to do it. So it was really disappointing.
Bryan, when you look at how a season could play out, I mean, I've been told from CFL sources that we could possibly see a bubble again. We could possibly see you guys beginning the season without fans in the building and then hopefully having fans in the stands. Does it matter to you?
I'll say this at the end of the day, no, because I, I get paid to play football, so I'm going to go and I'm going to play and I'm going to do the best I can, regardless of where we are. But, yes, I absolutely want to see fans in the stands. I mean, the fans of the CFL, it's really what makes the CFL special, man. Being able to have those guys cheering for you. It's just in every stadium, there's not a stadium I don't like playing in. I love going on the road and playing in those atmospheres. It really does make the game different. And I think watching NFL games, a lot of people have noticed just how weird it looks. You see the camera and you don't see any fans in the stands. It's really strange. They really do add a big part to the game. They're a huge aspect. So, I'm really hoping that we're able to, whether we have to start the season with or without fans, I'm really hoping that at some point we are able to get fans in the stands because, they deserve to be out there and watch us play.
Okay, last one from me before I let everyone else back in. It is the Super Bowl this weekend. We all watch it. I know you said it's been tough to watch. From a receiver standpoint, I want your Super Bowl pick. And are you liking the Tampa Bay's receiving core better than what we're going to see from Kansas City? Break down the Super Bowl and give us your winner, please.
I am excited about this Super Bowl because, you got Tom Brady switching teams, going to the NFC and getting to the Super Bowl in his first year, which I think is just amazing and just adds to his already great legacy as the GOAT. But with that said, I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan. I love Andy Reid, and I'm excited to see those guys go out and win back-to-back Super Bowls. I think Kansas City's going to take it. I think it's going to be a close game, but oh man, I got to give it to Kansas City with Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. It's just those guys are special, man, and Mike Evans is as well. But man, it's fun to watch those guys play.
Thanks, Bryan. Really appreciate chatting with you. Congratulations on the contract, man. And hopefully see you in May. All the best, buddy.
I appreciate it, man. It sounds good.
Thanks, Jay. And Bryan is an Eagles fan, so it's no wonder he had a tough time watching this year. Anyway, moving along. I just had to get that in there. We'll go to Gemma at Canadian Press. Gemma.
Chirps from the 49ers fan, eh?
Oh, you said it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Bryan, you talked about FaceTiming Mike when things had kind of been firmed up a little bit. Tell us about that call. What was that like? What did you want to say to him? And what's your relationship like these days?
Well, actually, I wanted to mess with him a little bit. So I answered the phone and was just kind of had a sad look on my face and was just telling him, how much I enjoyed playing with him and all this and that. But, I had to pull the strings a little bit. So he got a little nervous and thought I was saying goodbyes. But, I was excited to tell him that I was coming back. And, he was happy. His family was around him. So I'm excited to get, not even talking about football. I'm just excited to get back and see him and see his family. His wife and kids are awesome. It's fun to be around them. So, but man, that was that's my training camp roommate, my road roommate. That's my guy. So the relationship we've built, on the field and off the field is something that I really wanted to continue. So I'm happy that we're able to do that.
That's awesome. You talked about keeping your body ready to play. What's the training regime look like for you? Have you been training with anyone that we might know?
Yeah, actually, I've recently started throwing with my buddy Dane Evans. He's a quarterback in Hamilton. Me and him went to University of Tulsa together. We didn't get to play together, unfortunately. I was a little bit older than him. I was leaving when he was coming in, but man, he's done amazing things so far with his time in Hamilton, leading them to the Grey Cup. And it's nice to have a big time quarterback like that can throw you the ball all off season. And, we're both looking forward to making each other better. I hope I don't help him too much, because we're going to have to beat them next year in the Grey Cup. So, but no, it's been good. We've been getting a lot of good work in, and I'm looking forward to spending the off season with him and just getting better.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Bryan.
No problem.
Thanks, Gemma. We'll go back to Justin Dunk here.
Hey, Bryan, on that note, was Dane trying to recruit you to the Ticats?
He was a little bit, but oh man, they've got a great receiving core over there already. So would love to play with him, but it's BC, man, all the way.
And how much of a sales pitch was Mike Riley putting on you? Was he in your ear throughout the process, or did he sort of stay at arm's length, or what was that like?
He stayed at arm's length a little bit, just checking in here and there, because he understands the process. It's just a stressful process. And when things started to get a little shaky there a couple of weeks ago, he was concerned and started reaching out more and more. But he didn't need to reach out too much. He knew I wanted to be there. I knew he wanted me there, and like I said, we got things worked out. So I'm happy, and I know he would have been disappointed to see me go, but at the end of the day, you live on. But like I said, we're both happy to be back together.
Nice. And last one for me, is there something that you do that's special, like your secret sauce, that allows you to make these crazy acrobatic plays in your off-season training?
It's honestly, it's just something it's come natural to me, because it started when I was 6 years old, out in the backyard, just excuse me, just throwing the ball around with my dad and telling him to throw it as far as he could, or make it as hard as possible for me to catch it. So that's just something that I've just been doing on a daily basis since I was a little kid. And it came to be that now I get to do it professionally and get paid for it. But it's something that I've always kind of practiced as a kid. So at this point, it looks natural, but it definitely took years and years of just continuing to work at it.
I guess that's what happens when a D lineman is throwing you passes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, Bryan. Thanks for your time, man.
No problem, man.
Thanks, Justin. I see, Jay, your hand is still up. I don't know if it was down or you just left it up, but if you had one more, feel free to chime in.
No, I forgot, but Squire just wanted to know where Bryan's living these days.
I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Excellent. Well, it's probably nicer there than it is here, because it's pouring rain again.
Oh, it's beautiful here today. Nice and sunny. Yep.
Well, hopefully we see you at the end of April and beginning of May. Bryan, congratulations on the contract. You've always been a stand-up guy for us, so we wish you the best, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, and I hope I'm there soon.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Jay. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here in the TELUS Virtual Media Center. For those who didn't record it, we will send out a complete version of this virtual press conference soon here this afternoon. Thank you, Bryan, as well, of course.
Sweet, no problem.
The guest of honor here.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
No problem. Thank you. Good to talk to you guys.
Bye.
Yeah, I hope to see you all soon.